Welcome to Animania Chronicles, where we dive deep into the captivating worlds of anime, dissecting stories, unraveling characters, and sharing our passion for all things animated. Welcome back to our deep dive into Dororo. In part 3 of our review series, we explore the evolving dynamics between Hyakkimaru and Dororo as they face even darker challenges. Let's jump right into the heart of the action. Hearing those words, wondered if his son could possibly be alive. Later that day, a chief told him that it hadn't rained in 2 months, and he feared that all their rice fields would soon begin dying from the drought. At the same time, another chief revealed that a new clan was preparing to wage war against them, and thought it couldn't possibly get any worse. He rode off to his temple, thinking that Hyakkimaru was responsible for the broken statues as he was starting to reclaim his body parts. Before his eyes, a mystical smoke revealed Hyakkimaru, and realized he was right after all. Meanwhile, in the forest, Hyakkimaru charged at a monster and slew it in an instant. A few minutes later, as Dororo washed the blood off his clothes, she suggested they visit the nearby village for some food. Just then, she noticed his pouch and wondered if it was his family's crest, but Hyakkimaru only stared at it. In Dago's village, Tohomaru decided to ask the messenger about the baby he had been looking for. The man told him that the baby had disappeared 16 years ago. However, when Tohomaru asked why he was looking for the baby, the man bit off his tongue, and Tohomaru realized that the secret was probably very bad. That evening, he decided to confront his father, demanding to know why he had been asking about a baby. However, screamed at him to mind his own business. The following day, as his men found him on the island shore, Tohomaru told him that his father probably still thought he was a kid and that he must prove himself to everyone. At that moment, he noticed several villagers on the shore and asked if they were under attack. One of the villagers told him that they were being eaten by a monster in the lake and said they would never be safe with the monster alive. Tohomaru realized this was his perfect opportunity to prove himself, so he told them he would annihilate the monster, and his men followed him for support. That evening, as they began rowing their boats to the center of the lake, the fishermen noticed that the oar was stuck and the boat stopped moving. At that moment, Tohomaru realized that the monster was already approaching. Just then, it emerged from the water, and the villagers feared it would make them its dinner. Immediately, they tied their boats to a rope and successfully held it in place. As the beast grew angry, Tohomaru drew his sword, ready to slay it. He jumped onto another boat as the monster crab tried to devour a villager, but the villager managed to escape. As Mutsu fired an arrow at the beast, Tohomaru jumped onto another boat and split its claw in an instant before Hyogo cracked its shell. Tohomaru tried going for the kill, but the monster withdrew into the water and vanished. However, it began stabbing their boats, and Tohomaru realized it was trying to sink them, so he commanded the men to pull the boats towards the shore. On the island, Mutsu told Tohomaru that they could hardly defeat the beast in the water and suggested they come up with a better plan. Later that evening, Mutsu suggested they throw explosives into the monster's mouth, saying it would definitely blow it to smithereens. However, Tohomaru was unwilling to lose his men and said he would come up with a better plan. Just then, he spotted something in the distance, and Hyogo raised him higher so he could see better. At that moment, he discovered the perfect plan and was certain that the monster was as good as dead. The following day, the people began cutting wood and digging a new path around the island, eventually creating a wooden gate to seal off the water. When they were done, they decided to lure the monster with a boat before sealing it outside. At Tohomaru's command, the villagers cut off the ropes, opening up the sluice gate, and the lake flowed into another area, leaving the beast exposed. As they prepared to slay it, the beast began roaring, but Tohomaru charged at it with his men, dodging its claw before splitting its leg. As Hyogo sliced another leg, Mutsu fired arrows at it, eventually nailing its head and weakening the monster. Realizing their advantage, the villagers began cheering, and Tohomaru sliced its body. They began throwing stones at the beast. However, as Tohomaru tried to finish it, the crab threw a rock at the gate, and he realized they were about to lose their advantage. He directed the men to protect the gate, but the beast threw another rock, causing the water to start gushing. Determined to fight anyway, Tohomaru stabbed his sword into the ground, but the water carried the villagers away. Luckily, Hyogo managed to save them before they were eaten, throwing one of them onto the island before tossing the others. With the monster nearly devouring him, Tohomaru tried to rescue them, but Hyakkimaru rushed out of nowhere and slew the monster instantly. As Tohomaru wondered who killed it first, his men arrived and pulled him onto their boat. Just as they rowed away, he noticed Hyakkimaru and wondered just how powerful he must be to slay the monster. Later on the island, Tohomaru demanded to know who Hyakkimaru was, but Dororo told him to be grateful that they had saved them. Tohomaru thanked him but wondered why Hyakkimaru was only staring at him. Boro told him that Hyakkimaru was blind and could only see with his soul, but she demanded they pay up for saving them despite their broke situation. So, Tohomaru gave her some silver coins. As Dororo wondered how they could find the nearby village they were looking for, Tohomaru pointed toward his village. However, as they headed toward the village, Hyakkimaru remembered Tohomaru's soul and wondered if he had met him before. Inside the village, as a seer noticed them, she began screaming that the demon child had arrived to destroy them all before running away. At the same time, Dororo realized the town was very peaceful and noticed that everyone seemed happy. At that moment, she saw money in the crowd and wondered how they managed to find this village. A few minutes later, as they sat by a stream, the seer revealed that the statues of the demons were inside Daigo's temple and noticed that Hyakkimaru's soul was tainted with the presence of demons. She realized that he had been killing humans. As she began to leave, she warned Dororo to be careful, realizing that the demon inside him might completely take over. Meanwhile, at Daigo's palace, Matsu told him that they were saved by a mysterious man in rags and said that he traveled across villages looking for demons to slay. Just as he revealed his name, Matsu realized he was actually their son and was overwhelmed by the discovery. On the other hand, Dororo and Hyakkimaru began leaving the village, hoping to find the monster that was terrorizing the villagers. As they noticed a tall wall before them, Hyakkimaru sensed the presence of a demon around it and said it was really powerful. Just then, a boy appeared before them, nearly scaring Dororo, and warned them that they would be killed if they tried to cross to the other side. As they noticed the Ishikawa soldiers, a neighboring clan who were at war with the Asakura clan, the boy revealed that they would be shot if they tried to cross over to their land. However, Dororo was determined not to leave and told him that they came to slay Banmin, the powerful monster terrorizing the area. Later that day, as the boy Sugoroku began making soup, he revealed that this site used to be his home before the wall was built, which had stopped him from returning home. He said that the territory now belonged to the Asakura clan, but he was bent on crossing to the other side and reuniting with his family. Dororo offered to help him and said they would sneak him in at night, but Sugoroku told him that demons always surrounded the area and would devour everyone in sight. Even so, Dororo was not afraid and said that her demon-slaying companion would take care of the monster. At Daigo's palace, Matsu wondered where her lord was heading, fearing that he intended to kill Hyakkimaru to save his village. She told him that he was being punished for sacrificing his own son 16 years ago, but Daigo thought none of it mattered and decided to leave anyway. That night, as the Asakura soldiers left their post, the boys began hearing noises from the monsters. Before their eyes, a flaming demon descended from the sky, and they thought it was a fox. Sugoroku revealed that it was the Banmin monster that had been terrorizing everyone in the area. At that moment, over a dozen flames appeared before them and transformed into foxes. As a demon jumped at Hyakkimaru, he slashed it at once and began slashing the other demons. However, the lead fox summoned others, and more spirits appeared in the sky, flying toward Hyakkimaru. As he slashed them, another demon bruised his face, so Dororo began throwing rocks from the side, causing them to vanish. Hyakkimaru slayed more of them. Realizing his opportunity, Sugoroku began running to the other side, but Dororo thought it was too dangerous. As he tried to pursue him, a demon narrowly missed him, but as it returned to devour him, Hyakkimaru rushed in and killed it instantly. Dororo hurried away, and the demons merged into a nine-tailed fox. As Hyakkimaru dodged fireballs, the fox managed to pin him to the ground. Just as it tried to devour him, he kicked it away and slashed it before a bunch of arrows scared it off, causing it to disappear. Inside the village, Tohomaru began looking for Hyakkimaru, thinking he would help him discover his family's secret. But as he noticed the seer, she began to freak out, saying that the demon child had returned to slay Daigo. As Tahomaru demanded to know what she meant, she told him that it was the curse of demons and that the cursed child had returned to curse Daigo and the village. At the same time, Dororo was screaming for Sugoroku in the forest, but soon realized that he had been captured by the soldiers at the wall. Hyakkimaru sensed the power of the demons inside Daigo's soul. As he asked who Daigo was, one of the men insulted him for speaking directly to Daigo. In an instant, Hyakkimaru knocked over their torches and rushed to feel Daigo's soul. As Daigo realized that Hyakkimaru was truly his cursed son, he tried to strike him, but Hyakkimaru jumped away immediately. As Daigo wondered how he had managed to survive on his own, he called him a half-born demon child and commanded his men to eliminate him. They launched arrows immediately, but Hyakkimaru escaped to the other side, and the men pursued him into the forest. As he hid in a tree, he wondered what Daigo's words meant and realized he must see him again. On the other hand, as Dororo woke up inside a cell, she realized she was now a prisoner of the Asakura clan. When she noticed Sugoroku, she wondered if he had found his village, but he told her that his home had been destroyed and that even his family were all probably dead. Hoping to inspire him, Dororo began telling him that they could travel around the world together, but another prisoner said that they would be safer if they could escape to Daigo's territory. The prisoner said that the goddess of mercy was protecting their land and that the demon was keeping the Asakura clan from going beyond the Banman Wall. At that moment, Dororo noticed his crest and realized that Hyakkimaru had the same symbol on his pouch. The man revealed that it was the crest of Daigo's clan. Just then, she noticed an opening inside the cell and thought it might lead them outside. However, when she suggested they escape together, Sugoroku told her he was too afraid, and the prisoners said they could never escape. Even so, Dororo was determined to survive and promised to return to rescue Sugoroku. She began climbing up the rocks, but a guard spotted her and immediately called for backup. However, as one of the guards tried to fire an arrow at her, Sugoroku managed to stop him, causing the arrows to miss. He screamed at her to escape. As she made it outside, she slipped down the rocks and fell into a stream. Meanwhile, at Daigo's palace, Tahomaru arrived home and demanded to know why his mother and father fed Hyakkimaru to the demons. The memory of it broke his mother's heart, and when Tahomaru said she was useless for abandoning her own son, Daigo appeared, saying that it was the only way to save their village from the wars and famine that had destroyed his people. Just then, they were warned about an intruder and discovered that it was Hyakkimaru. As Hyakkimaru noticed their souls, he realized they were probably his family and managed to block the soldiers' arrows. However, as they launched new arrows, he began running away, and Daigo commanded his men to kill him. Hearing his words, Tahomaru tried to argue that Hyakkimaru should be spared, as he was his brother, but Daigo told him to get his empty brains out of his ass, and insisted that Hyakkimaru's survival would destroy their entire village. Inside the forest, Hyakkimaru noticed Dororo as she emerged from the bushes. She told him that Sugoroku would soon be executed. At the same time, an Asakura soldier told the prisoners that they had declared war on the Ishikawa clan, thinking that the demon protecting their territory had been driven away, and said that executing the prisoners would be their declaration of war. At the village, Tahomaru and his men made their way to the temple, and as they arrived, they noticed all the broken statues and realized that their seal of the demons would soon be destroyed. At that moment, a powerful wind began blowing them and eventually pushed them outside the temple. This triggered Tahomaru to side with the demons, as he realized that saving his village was the most important thing to him. Inside the forest, as Dororo discovered that Hyakkimaru's family were the lords of the village, she began saying that they would be offered a VIP treatment once they visited the palace, and Hyakkimaru was hoping to see his mother again. At the Banman Wall, the Asakura soldiers launched arrows to eliminate the prisoners, but Sugoroku managed to survive. Immediately, the Ishikawa soldiers charged at them, and Dororo spotted the battle from the forest. Before they knew it, spirit flames began appearing, so Hyakkimaru started slashing them as he rushed toward the battle. On the battlefield, a demon devoured a soldier, causing the Asakura clan to flee, realizing they could not win the war. Just then, the Ishikawa soldiers spotted Hyakkimaru, and their leader told his men that Hyakkimaru was the demon threatening their village. As Hyakkimaru noticed one of the soldiers who had killed Mio and the orphans, he grew angry at the memory and was ready to annihilate them all. However, Dororo managed to hold him back and eventually calmed him down. Right then, Tohomaru arrived and told Hyakkimaru that he was his younger brother and that their father had really offered him as a sacrifice for the village. However, Tohomaru believed it was the right thing to do and said that breaking the seal with the demons would ruin their village. To prevent this from happening, he declared that Hyakkimaru was now a demon in their land and must be annihilated immediately. He drew his sword and decided to attack him, but Dororo thought this must be a very bad dream and hurried to rescue Sukeroku. At the same time, the brothers began clashing swords, but as Dororo tried freeing Sukeroku, they realized that the spirit foxes were returning. That's it for today. Stay tuned for part 4 of our Dororo review series. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the vast realms of anime. Don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell, and stay tuned for more thrilling reviews and discussions. Until next time, keep exploring the boundless wonders of anime with us.